In this lesson, we're going to write linear equations in slope-intercept form. So let's start by reviewing slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is when we have an equation that is written in the form y is equal to mx plus b, where the number with the variable is the slope, and the number without the variable is the y-intercept. Example 1, identify the slope and y-intercept of the line given the equation. So number 1, it says y is equal to 1/4 x minus 2. So let's go ahead and identify the slope, and we're going to identify the y-intercept. And remember, the slope is always a number with the variable. It has to, all of these are solved for y, and so, but I just want to remind you that if they're not solved for y, that you do have to take that one more step and solve them for y before you can identify the slope and the y-intercept. So right here, we've got a slope, the number with the variable of 1/4, and a y-intercept then of a -2. Don't forget that you've got that -2. So question number 2, we have y is equal to 4 minus 2x. So we've got our slope and our y-intercept. And again, remember, the slope is a number that's with the variable. So our slope here is the -2. And the y-intercept then is going to be 4. And question number 3, we have slope and y-intercept. So we have y is equal to 3x. Remember, if you don't have a y-intercept that is listed, there is one. It's just going to be 0. So our slope here is 3, and our y-intercept then is 0. All right, example number 2. How do I write a slope-intercept equation given the slope and the y-intercept? So what we're going to be doing is it's giving us the slope and it's giving us the y-intercept, and we're just going to be simply plugging it into that formula, y is equal to mx plus b. And so for our first one, we have a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5. So I've got y is equal to, well, remember the slope is a number that goes with the variable. And then I just have then the y-intercept that's +5, so you would have a +5. For question number 2, we have, again, y is equal to, and now we've got a slope of 3/4, so we're going to put 3/4 next to the x. And then because I've got a y-intercept of -7, you could certainly do +7, but the better way of writing that is if you've got a negative slope y-intercept is to just then put -7. And then question number 3, we've got y is equal to, well, we've got a slope of 2, so that's the number that's going to go with the variable. So I've got 2x. And we have a y-intercept of 0. Now you could certainly write +0, but you're not normally going to see it that way. It's not going to be marked wrong if you do that, but the better way to write this one would just be y is equal to 2x. All right, so example number 3, it says, how do I write a slope-intercept equation given the graph? So we're going to start by identifying the slope, we're going to identify the y-intercept, and then we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. All right, so let's go ahead, let's identify the slope of the line. Remember, we've got these 2 points right here. I've got this one, and if they're not identified for you, you'll have to pick 2 points. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So the slope of this line is 3 all over 1, or we can simplify that down to 3. And the y-intercept is where the line crosses on that y-axis. Remember, this is our y-axis, and it's where it's crossing on the y, which would be, let me grab be right here would be our y-intercept. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. So our y-intercept then is at -4. And once you have the slope and once you've got the y-intercept, now it's really easy. We just plug it in to that formula. The y is equal to mx plus b. And remember, the slope is always the number that goes with that variable x. So we're going to have y is equal to, our slope is 3. I'm going to put the variable x, and since our y-intercept is a -4, we have to have then -4. And then you're all done. All right, so question number 2. Let's identify the slope. Let's identify the y-intercept. So remember, slope, rise all over run. So I'm going to take these 2 points and I'm going up 1 and then I'm going over 3. So the slope of this line is 1/3. And then our y-intercept, notice how that's going through the origin and that's proportional. And the y-intercept then is going to just be 0. So when we go and write this equation in slope-intercept form, we'll have y is equal to, well, the slope, the number with the variable, the rate of change, x. And now, of course, you can write the plus arrow, but it's better just to write it as y is equal to 1/3 x. All right, so notice that this one doesn't have any points that are identified here for us. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take this point right here, and then, I don't know, this is kind of hard to see, maybe this point right here. And so, all right, so now let's find the slope between those 2 points. So we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. So our top number, our rise, is 4, or -4, I should say. And then our run, we went over +3. So our bottom number would be, so we have -4 all over 3. And then our y-intercept then, it's on the y-axis, so we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get to that point right there is 7. And then again, we're just going to put that into slope-intercept form. Y is equal to -4 all over 3x, and then because it was a +7, you would have then +7. All right, so for this one, I would like for you to find the 2 points that you're going to find the slope between, and then identify the slope, the y-intercept, and I would like for you to write this in slope-intercept form. Once you're done writing it, you're going to pause this video, and then once you're done, you can resume the video and you can check your work. All right, so I took the 2 points that I have identified there, and now you could have picked this point right here. I guess I didn't see that when I was doing it. A closer point, I guess, would have been this one right here, in which you would have gone up 2 over 1, and regardless, we got a rate of change or a slope that is equal to 2. And the y-intercept is at the -1. So then when I wrote my equation, I had y is equal to 2x minus 1. All right, example number 3. How do I write a slope-intercept equation from a real-world situation? And so notice we've got the weight of a jar with marbles. And we've got the number of marbles along the bottom and that go 10, 20, 30, 40, and so forth. And then we've got the weight in grams that are going up 20, 40, 60, 80, and so forth. And so this question is much like the one that we had done with our starburst. Remember, we had the cup and then we had the starburst. And remember that we weighed our cup first with 0 starbursts in it. Remember that the cup had weighed 3 grams. And then every time we put in a starburst, then the weight went up 5. So it started at the 3, went up 5 over 1, and up 5 over 1, and so forth. Well, notice how this one doesn't start at the origin either. And so this value right here is when you have 0 marbles in that jar. And so let's just say it's kind of hard to tell here, but let's just make this then an 18. It might be 16, I'm not sure. But so it says to identify the slope and identify the y-intercept. So remember, our slope is the rate of change. How much is it going up or down for how much it's going side to side. And then the y-intercept is that starting point. And in this case, it's what is the weight when you have 0 marbles? Our y-intercept then starts here at that 18. It's when there's 0 marbles. And now let's identify the slope. Let's find 2 points where it's easier to find our slope than starting with that 18. So if I identify maybe this point and this point, and remember, it's rise all over run. And we have to notice that we're going from 40 to 60, meaning we're going up by 20. So we're going up 20, 40, 60. So our top number for our rate of change or our slope is 60. And now notice when we go to the right, we're going up by tens. So I'm going over 10, 20. And so I've got then a run of 20. Now I would simplify this because we're talking about the weight of the marbles. So 60 divided by 20 is equal to 3. And so it's asking you, what does the y represent? The y-intercept represent? Well, the y-intercept is representing when you've got 0 marbles and it's just the weight of the jar. So it's weight of jar with 0 marbles. And then it's asking us, what does the slope represent? Well, notice that the slope, you're going, if we picked those 2 points, we're going up 60 over 20. And so the 3, it's the 3 grams per marble. So it means that every marble weighs 3 grams. And now let's go ahead and let's just write our slope-intercept equation. So we've got this y is equal to, and I might even start, I kind of like these ones. It's starting at the 18, and then from the 18, it's going up 3 over 1, giving us a slope of 3. Now, of course, you could write that like this, 3x plus 18. Either one is just fine. All right, question number 2. It says Bambino's Pizza is offering $56 a shift plus or and $3 in commission for each pizza that is delivered. So we need to identify the slope and identify the y-intercept and what they represent. And then we're going to write the equation that represents the total earnings dependent on the number of pizzas that were ordered. Well, here, first of all, I think sometimes it's just easier for us to write the equation first, and it doesn't matter. You got this y is equal to, that's going to, the y is going to represent the total cost. And then they get $56 for their shift. So they go into work and they're going to earn $56. And then from there, for each pizza that they deliver, they're going to earn an additional $3. And so let's go ahead then and identify the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope, remember, is the number with the variable. It's the one that happens over and over again for each pizza. It's the 3, and it represents the $3 per pizza. And then our y-intercept is the 56, because you get paid $56 to just go into work for your shift. And then from there, then you get paid the $3 in commission. So the 56 is the $56 commission. And you get that before you even deliver any pizzas. So with 0 pizzas, you'd still make the $56, and then it just goes up from there. All right, question number 3. It says, Jonathan has a checking account with a balance of $550. He plans to spend $40 each week without depositing any additional money. All right, you need to identify the slope and the y-intercept and say what they represent. And then you need to write the equation that models the total amount in the checking account dependent on the number of weeks. All right, so I would like for you to pause the video. I'd like you to write your equation. I do want to remind you, though, that you are spending. And so think about what that's going to be for your operation with that rate of change. So pause the video, then let's resume and see how you did. All right, so hopefully you wrote your equation, something like 500 or 550 or 550 minus, because you're spending $40 per week. And then the slope is the spending the $40 each week. And then the 550, it's the amount that he started with. And so in this lesson, we took a look at how to write equations in slope-intercept form.